All right, I'm going to do a video update today, mostly on stocks, but first I'm going to do a quick note on the dollar and commodities. The dollar broke higher this week and completely reversed. As I've said, this is going to put pressure on all risk assets if it continues lower. Silver, gold, oil, uranium, other commodities, most have rallied extremely far in the last few months, other than silver and gold, which have been suppressed. Uh, and right now they look volatile and potentially weak. Take a look at oil. So as these long rallies tend to make it to their ends, they get extremely volatile at the very end. These are huge swings on a daily basis, and it could continue higher. But at some point, I do expect that a large portion of this rally will retrace, probably down to, 38, 50%, which, from these prices would be oil back at $50 a barrel. So I don't know exactly what will happen in the short term. If things rally further and this goes to 70, then that target would be higher. But for the time being, I'm out of commodities, whether it's oil, uranium, and then seeing what happens in gold and silver as well. So on to stocks. This is the nasdaq, and earlier this week I said the market could do three things. It could take back off to all-time highs after it saw this big dip to start the week. It could retrace down back to Monday's lows and then move higher, and it could just drop lower than Monday. Right now, we're obviously in the second or third scenario where we've retraced and retested, and it could drop further. And I know I'll get a lot of sarcastic comments. I always do on saying, "Oh, it could go up or it could go down," and that's all that I'm saying. And I get that, but to me, it's important to play out some scenarios and have them in my head before they happen. In hindsight, it looks kind of dumb for me to explain it this way, but in real time, being mentally prepared for this exact scenario that I called in real time, the proof is in the pudding, and I had a good week. I ended up 8% this past week, where I don't think a lot of other people had gains at all. So being prepared and thinking about these potential strategies can really be helpful. It works for me. So zooming in, take a look at this week. I'm going to take the same approach right now and show some potential paths that I've planned for. Right now, my view is that stocks are trying to find a base, at least short term. I'll jump over to bonds and show why I think that's the case. So on Thursday, this reversal, I was short to start the week. I was short on Wednesday, just small positions, because it did seem more likely that there were going to be lower lows. Once it started to play out, those were just quick in and out trades. But as soon as this reversed, I got out of those shorts, and at the end of the day, Thursday, I got long in stocks. And it was because of this potential action. When you see a huge volume shift after a massive, massive decline, it's likely that there's going to be a snapback rally. And I thought the same thing could potentially happen for stocks. So far, that hasn't played out. The volume hasn't been as extreme that it has been in some individual stocks. But so here's the possible paths that I see from here. The most likely one is a pullback to lower lows to start the week. So we ended here, it was a little bit weak during the day. I wouldn't be surprised to see this dip back a little bit lower, get everybody nervous on Monday, maybe Tuesday. It could even go down as low as testing some of these other resistances, right? Like 12.9 down to 12.7. That wouldn't really make me nervous. I would probably still hold on to my positions, and I have stops set pretty far down low that hopefully won't get hit. If this were to happen, I would look for a high volume, fast reversal, just like I just showed in bonds. This is what I would be looking for, is a big panic day Monday. Not really like that much of a price change, but then a large snapback potentially overnight, similar to kind of what we saw here, where there was, a big rally, and then overnight, it jumped another percent. And this just makes it so traders can't get back in. Retail traders can't buy here, and then they miss the rest. And I think that could potentially play out here. I think that's what's most likely at the moment. Second is markets could just gap up Monday. I think that's also possible. It could catch up to what bonds have done and just take off. Again, leading traders a little bit in the dust. I think there was a lot of buying on Thursday and Friday, so I don't know if that's quite as likely, but it's possible. And then the third, obviously, is that bonds reverse back down. If this candle reverses and bonds go down, this is TLT, that would be a huge warning sign for me, and I would get back on the sidelines, potentially even short for just day trades. I would never hold short positions really overnight. So those are the potential options that I see. Once the market bounces, and I do think that's most likely again, I'll see how it develops. I'd like to see the major indexes push straight back to all-time highs within a few days, similar to this action, right? This was 3 days and all of a sudden it was just over. Same here. That's what some of the corrections have done recently. And I don't know if that's quite as likely here. I feel like the bullish sentiment, had really reached extremes in a lot of different areas, whether it's Bitcoin or stocks and some of like the, high momentum stocks like electric vehicles and batteries. It really reached extreme sentiment, and I think that needs some time to wash out. So personally, what I'm doing is I'm just going to be trading short term. I'll be buying and selling probably within hours. I am holding some long positions right now, but I will just err on the side of caution at every moment, and be willing to part with those, especially if we were to see some kind of a reversal. So if we see action develop this week that goes up, but then we see something like this where the following day it completely reverses that candle. In this environment, with how volatile things are, it could happen, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and really make sure that my primary objective is to keep my portfolio safe and keep my cash safe. With how the dollar is acting, it completely reversed here. It's not a bad thing to be in cash. If this also continues down, that's another sign that I'm looking for. This is going to, like I said, put a lot of pressure on all risk assets. If this were to continue lower than 1.2, especially if it goes lower than 1.95-ish, right? If it starts breaking these resistances, that'll be just another scenario that I would like to see it for a larger correction to play out. Also, looking at upcoming events, there's a lot of news on stimulus that's being passed. I could see the market rallying this week as those talks sort of unfolds and things build. And then when the news actually hits, this is a perfect opportunity, especially with how this is all setting up, for it to be a sell the news event. I don't know if it'll happen this week, but I can see something like that triggering a big green candle, and exactly what I'm saying, a reversal candle back down. Again, these are all guesses. These are just, I try to play out potential scenarios and how things will behave and react in the future. So I'm prepared for them at the time, and hopefully not too blindsided by some of these moves. So last, this is my blog. If you choose to trade this action this week, I encourage everybody to make their own plan and follow it. In my blog, I make daily posts about changing market conditions and my strategy and how I plan to play it. I'm not a financial advisor. I give no specific recommendations on to buy or sell at what prices on any like the hot stocks. I do mention some stocks and ETFs that I'm interested in, but really I encourage everybody to make their own plans. I also answer questions and comments here and on Twitter. And really, I just try to identify what my daily game plan is and what I expect to unfold. If you're interested, take a look. It's relativestrengthpro.com. And I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll see what Monday brings.